Hey there, it's therapy and relaxation. Today, we're talking about building resilience through constructive criticism. Let's go. Resilience is not merely the ability to bounce back from adversity. It's a skill that, like any other, can be learned, practiced, and refined over time. In our journey through life, be it work, relationships, or personal growth, constructive criticism is an inevitable companion. Though often uncomfortable, criticism holds the potential to shape us into stronger, wiser, and more adaptable individuals. By learning how to process and utilize this feedback, we can foster robust emotional resilience and unlock new pathways to success and fulfillment. The power of perspective is the cornerstone of building resilience through constructive criticism. Often, our instinctive response to criticism is one of defensiveness or self-doubt, as if every comment is a reflection of our worth. But what if we could reframe these moments, not as personal affronts, but as opportunities for insight and improvement? The transformation begins with understanding the intent behind the words we receive and separating the message from the messenger. When criticism arrives, it's tempting to focus on how it was delivered or who delivered it, allowing tone or relationship history to cloud the actual feedback. Yet, by stripping away the emotional charge and examining the content itself, we can gain valuable clarity. Every piece of criticism carries an underlying motive. In most cases, the person offering feedback wishes to help us improve, even if the delivery is imperfect. Rather than conflating their communication style with the validity of their message, we can search beneath the surface. Is there a nugget of truth? Is there something we might do differently? By shifting our focus from the perceived personal attack to the potential for growth, we begin to welcome criticism as a tool rather than a threat. The next step is the art of self-reflection. Constructive criticism is most beneficial when we are able to process it objectively and thoughtfully. Doing so requires the courage to acknowledge the feedback in its entirety, resisting the urge to dismiss or rationalize it away. We can ask ourselves, is there merit to this perspective? Are there specific examples we can learn from? Rather than viewing criticism as a confirmation of inadequacy, we can interpret it as an invitation to grow. This process might feel uncomfortable at first, but true learning often exists just outside of our comfort zones. Identifying precise areas for growth is essential. Taking a moment to internally catalog the aspects of the criticism that resonate can provide direction for future improvement. Viewing criticism as a learning tool aligns our mindset with personal progress, signaling to ourselves that we are open to change and committed to our own development. Each reflection becomes a stepping stone, leading us closer to the goals we aspire to reach. Of course, even the most well-intentioned feedback can leave emotional marks. That is why building emotional resilience is key to managing the impact of criticism. This journey begins with practicing self-compassion, a recognition that learning involves mistakes and that every person has room to grow. Instead of berating ourselves for our shortcomings, we can remind ourselves that imperfection is part of the human experience. It's important to foster a positive self-image that isn't swayed by every piece of external validation or criticism. Self-compassion involves treating ourselves with the same kindness and understanding that we would offer a friend in a similar situation. This mindset fortifies us against the sting of negative feedback and allows us to view setbacks not as failures, but as valuable lessons. By anchoring our self-worth in our values and efforts, rather than the fluctuating opinions of others, we unlock the mental space needed to use criticism productively. Remember, emotional resilience doesn't mean being unaffected by criticism. It means being able to absorb feedback, process it calmly, and bounce back with intention and purpose. Turning criticism into action is the next step. To derive tangible benefits from feedback, we must set realistic, achievable goals based on what we have learned. Rather than being overwhelmed by sweeping suggestions or feelings of inadequacy, we can break larger objectives into smaller, manageable steps. This incremental approach ensures that growth feels attainable and progress is measurable. For example, if feedback pertains to communication skills, we might set a specific goal to practice active listening in our next team meeting or to seek clarification before responding. Over time, these small changes accumulate, resulting in noticeable personal and professional growth. It's also important to celebrate our successes, however minor they may seem. Acknowledging milestones not only builds confidence, but also reinforces the connection between feedback and positive change. As we set forth on this journey, cultivating a growth mindset becomes both our compass and our fuel. A growth mindset is the belief that our abilities and intelligence can be developed through dedication and effort, rather than being fixed traits. When we adopt this perspective, challenges transform into opportunities, and setbacks become valuable learning experiences. Embracing feedback, positive or negative, as a catalyst for development allows us to remain curious and open, even when facing discomfort or uncertainty. A growth mindset encourages us to view criticism not as an indictment of our character, but as essential information that guides us toward the person we wish to become. With each new piece of feedback, we learn, adapt, and improve, making resilience not a static trait, but an ever-evolving process. It's important to recognize that building resilience through constructive criticism is a lifelong journey. There will be times when feedback feels particularly challenging or when setbacks shake our confidence. In these moments, returning to the practices of perspective-taking, self-reflection, and self-compassion can ground us. We might recall the times when overcoming criticism led to success, or when learning from feedback brought about meaningful change. With each experience, our capacity for resilience expands, and our ability to grow stronger in the face of adversity deepens. To cultivate this resilience, it can be helpful to develop a few personal rituals. Perhaps you take a few deep breaths before responding to criticism, give yourself time before reacting, or keep a journal to process feedback. Maybe you practice repeating affirmations that reinforce your intrinsic worth, reminding yourself that your value is not defined by any single mistake or opinion. You may also choose to seek feedback proactively, signaling to those around you and to yourself that you are committed to growth, not perfection. It's also crucial to remember that not all criticism is created equal. Part of building resilience is learning to discern between helpful feedback and feedback that is misinformed, biased, or harmful. There is power in selectively absorbing what serves your growth, while letting go of what does not align with your values or vision. This discernment empowers you to take charge of your narrative and to shape your development in intentional, constructive ways. As you embrace the journey of building resilience through constructive criticism, celebrate the progress you make. Acknowledge the effort it takes to listen, reflect, adapt, and persevere. Recognize that every moment spent learning from feedback, no matter how small, is a testament to your strength and commitment to growth. Ultimately, resilience is less about withstanding the storms of life unscathed, and more about learning to dance in the rain, using each raindrop of feedback to nurture your roots and help you bloom into your truest, most capable self. By actively seeking out perspective, practicing self-reflection, building emotional resilience, turning criticism into action, and cultivating a growth mindset, you lay down the foundation for a richer, more rewarding life. In every piece of constructive criticism lies the seed of opportunity. With courage, compassion, and a willingness to learn, you can transform these moments from sources of discomfort into stepping stones toward your brightest future. Each challenge becomes a chance to grow, every setback a lesson, and each success a celebration of your enduring resilience. Nourish your inner strength by welcoming feedback, not as a verdict, but as a guide. In doing so, you empower yourself to continually evolve, to reach new heights, and to thrive, no matter what challenges come your way. Thanks for sticking around. Don't forget to subscribe us and check out therapyandrelaxation.com for more. See you tomorrow.